Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these coins as Bitcoin has now broken above, for the first time I suppose, making an actual all-time high, but breaking above this support and would appear to be a genuine one. So let's have a look at the moving averages to see what's going on. Let's have a look at some of these other indicators and oscillators, and see if this is likely to continue, and if we need to be worried or concerned. So the main thing for me was always to work out, are we going to touch this level of this RSI, bearish divergence, for instance. On the 3 daily, it looks like we already have. Okay, so I mean, it is an area of concern, definitely. It definitely is an area of concern, and one that could end up bringing the whole thing down. And I know that sounds silly, and I wasn't expecting it to hit this level so quick, but it has. But that's just the 3 daily. Now, if we move that aside and look at the weekly, the weekly is different. So the weekly has a trend like this, and the weekly I would say has probably got more relevance to it, and we do have further to go before an anticipated or projected potential top zone. Now I know there's a lot of people talking about the pi cycle indicator. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there is a pi cycle indicator. Everybody seems to be, looking at that, calling a top on it. And I suppose mass psychology, when everybody thinks that there's going to be a top, then there's a large amount of people that are going to treat it as a top, and then that could then become domino effect. So, from what I understand, that pi cycle indicator has already made a cross, which, according to previous history, and again, it's been back tested. It's not actually predicted anything yet, but would suggest that we have only a few days to go before an actual top is put in. Look, that aside, I'm not using the pi cycle indicator. It's just that everybody's talking about it like it's the be all and end all. And look, if it turns out to be true, then it'll be the first time it really did predict a top, and we can think about that sort of thing in the future. But until it actually works in real time, I'm obviously I'm going to limit my exposure anyway, as suggested in my previous videos. The main goal for me recently, over the last few weeks, has been to take profit into Bitcoin, and mainly focus on top cap coins because they've all got the best weekly charts, and the small caps that have already moved large amounts. Then yeah, I mean, they've mostly been taking profit on those guys. I'm not saying that they can't have another move, but that's the sort of thing that we'll look at on the live stream later on tonight for Patreon users. So Bitcoin now obviously clearly making its new all-time high, and as I expect, could potentially reach towards the top of this Bollinger Band before the top. The top is put in. Now that is a relatively big move for Bitcoin, especially at these high levels where it takes quite a substantial amount of money to get to those levels. 13% move from here to there, bringing us up at just above $70,000, and then that may be an area to think about taking some profit, and maybe even take profit out of the market in general, or just play it safe, because like I've said it for quite a while now. There are warning signals. There are definitely warning signals sort of knocking around. So long as Bitcoin doesn't get completely overextended, I'm okay. So let's just move over to some of these top cap coins to see how they're doing. Because like I say, top caps are the ones that I was expecting the moves from. The small caps technically have already done it, and now we're looking for a larger rotation. And it's worth noting that obviously Coinbase is going public today on the New York Stock Exchange. So there is a broader focus now on the cryptocurrency market, just by default because of that Coinbase listing. So this kind of move, I suppose, it's no coincidence that interest has moved into not just Bitcoin but some of these top caps as a result of that, because Coinbase, as much as they do list smaller cap coins, it's usually the longer standing, larger cap coins that they like to focus on. So we're seeing a nice move here with Litecoin. Obviously XRP is doing its crazy thing. We'll talk about that on another video. Ethereum also putting in a new all-time high. EOS lagging a little bit, but still looking relatively strong to me. And again, EOS, I make videos on EOS and to try and get people to understand what's going on with EOS. But just to zoom out a little bit, it's working out as planned, buying in at the bottom around here, and now we're reversing this chart, so that's working out as expected. And Ethereum Classic, another one of those coins that had a really decent signal on the weekly here, and that's playing out pretty well as well. So all of these top cap coins are holding up pretty well in comparison to a lot of other altcoins which aren't holding up particularly well right now. If we go to the Satoshi pairings, let's have a look at the hardest hits. We've got quite a lot of these coins that have been hit pretty hard at the moment by this move from Bitcoin, which goes, and if we were to look at these, I mean, I don't know all of these tokens personally, I don't look at absolutely everything, but the majority of them, I suppose the outlier being BNB, but that has rallied massively as of yesterday, and I suppose over the last few weeks, well, over the last few months really. So to see it go down by 14% against Bitcoin is no big deal, but the majority of these are going to be the small cap coins. And if we go to the other end of the extreme, all the way down to, well, we'll just reverse the chart here. Well, I mean, that's that's crazy, but yeah, XRP, that's top cap. I suppose most of these, I suppose some of them aren't really top cap at all, are they really? So, but you will find the top caps likely to be not particularly red, holding up quite well in comparison to this Bitcoin pump. So, as Bitcoin's pumping, and like I say, all eyes are on Bitcoin. Let's have a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. So this is how I intend on playing this in the short term, and it's a matter of playing supports and resistances. So interestingly enough, yesterday and today we came down to touch this trend line, which used to be the descending. Let's go to a weekly here. It's easier to see. We'll get rid of this. We don't need that. Which used to be the descending channel that we played within, and this used to be the Bitcoin dominance, I suppose, support and resistance, and we came down to tag it yesterday, last week I suppose, and today. So we're bouncing from there. Where could we possibly bounce to? Well, I would imagine the maximum bounce on its first pass would be around about 57% dominant, 57.18% dominant, coming in at the bottom level of this zone here, strong zone. You can see how we got supports from there many times and bounces from there also, breaking down from there because it used to be so strong. Probably expect it to be a strong resistance as well. So looking to perhaps start to scale into altcoins around here, and that just doesn't mean blindly scale in. We scale into the ones with the best charts, and in my opinion, and at the moment, that's still the top cap coins. So anything, I mean, these aren't signals, these aren't calls. I'm not, I don't want you to start just buying things because I'm naming some tokens here, but I mean any of these top cap coins like Litecoin, EOS, Ethereum, Chainlink, even, you name it, Bitcoin Cash, they're all the ones that show decent charts on weeklies and are holding up quite well. That's not to say that small caps can't rally. They certainly can. I mean, the beauty of a small cap coin is that they rally really hard, or they bounce really hard. You get the biggest amount of gains out of them. But unless the chart itself is strong, it's going to be difficult to really flip that. If you want to rotate from Bitcoin into altcoins, you really do need to pick your altcoin appropriately and make sure that the chart is like I say, primed for a move, not just go into it because it's been going down for a long period of time and you can only assume that it'll go back up. I mean, that's not really how I like to play things. It's all about going from strength to strength. So over the last few weeks, taking profit into Bitcoin was the plan. And now, I suppose, even at this early stage, I am thinking about going back into some of these top cap altcoins at this very early stage. It's very early. This is a very small bounce, but if I think that this is the support and resistance zone at the moment, then yeah, I mean, there's no problem for me to scale into altcoins all the way up to this level. I'm not going to try and catch a top, and if this doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's no big deal. Like I say, this is nothing's ever simple when it comes to crypto, and it is only a matter of working out the likelihood of an outcome. Nobody really knows the exact outcome anyway, and then anyone who claims they do is either, I suppose, misleading themselves into a false sense of security, which is dangerous, or they're just very, I suppose, arrogant. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. So, but it's a matter of working out the odds. So, yeah, this trend line is good. I like the fact that we're bouncing from here because it's descending, and if we continue to use this as a support, then it will obviously go down further and further and further. So just to put things into a larger context as well, we go to the daily. If we look at the daily on this Bitcoin dominance chart, it is still pretty bearish. I mean, we've got the conversion baseline cross. This is a classic sell signal. If this were to be a coin or any kind of asset, this is a classic short position. So you get in here and you would be shorting it from thereafter until something changes. At the moment, nothing's changing. We're only going down further with the Chiku span, with the price action. These two conversion baselines are diverging, and actually we're getting rejected from the conversion line, which is actually pretty good as well for a bearish type of indicator. I mean, they can be used in that respect, and it would appear that this is probably just coincidence, but we are finding rejection there. Bitcoin dominance isn't a leading indicator. It just shows you, I suppose, the idea, the concept of where the money's at. And at the moment, the money has clearly been in altcoins, since the beginning of the year. And would appear that the money probably will remain, split almost 50-50 at this point. But as we get bounces can be nasty for altcoins. And this is what I was saying, over the last week or two, that the further we go down with Bitcoin dominance, obviously this represents how much money we're making in altcoins. But altcoins do get kind of vulnerable down here because we saw it with this bounce here. This bounce was pretty bad for a lot of altcoins, and it was a telltale sign that even if the Bitcoin dominance chart is going down like this, whenever we do catch a bounce, which is probably all this is, just a bounce before a continued move down, the alts will become extremely vulnerable on these bounces. Doesn't mean that there's not money to be made in altcoins. Like I said, if we go back to these top cap coins, they all look pretty good to me. They do all look pretty good to me. But the problem is that I suppose the smaller the cap, the harder they will fall. And even with the top cap coins, they could easily fall, quite hard if Bitcoin dominance breaks through those levels of resistance and continues with an uptrend. Which again, the chart doesn't suggest that it would do that, but it could. It really could. So that, I suppose, a bit of an overview. And again, it's very cautious. This is a cautious time. Bitcoin potentially approaching a top in my opinion, over the next few weeks. Could potentially be reaching a top, and if Bitcoin reaches a top, it's pretty likely that the market will reach a top, and that's not a top full stop, retracement 85%. That's not what I'm saying. You can have local tops, you can have significant retracements, you can have prolonged bear markets within a bull market, like we did in 2019. We got one of those back down here. It doesn't look very big, but at the time this was a significant rally, and then it was a pretty nasty bear market within a bull market. This is where the bull market started. This is the bottom, and we are still within that 4-year cycle, predicted to end towards the end of this year. So putting things into perspective, let's just not get too concerned about wherever this top might be and trying to catch a top. It's just something to bear in mind. Like I say, there are warning signals, mainly on the weekly time frame, that I would hold most relevance to, which gives us a little bit more breathing space with Bitcoin, and depending on how long it takes for us to get there, it does offer some more opportunity, at least for these top cap altcoins. Just to name a few, these are some of them, but obviously there's a lot more than that. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Hopefully that was useful to you. Like I say, we've got a live stream this evening, and £7.50 a month. You get 2 live streams a week, 16 hours a month, so not a bad price. And we'll just look at as many altcoins as we can get through in that 2-hour period on Tuesdays and on Fridays. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.